Hello, everyone. My name is Faith Maloney, and I'm one of the co-founders here at Best Friends. Welcome to our monthly blessing for September. Thank you for joining us here in person, and all of you who are watching at home, thank you for being here. We started this blessing many years ago as a way to honor and celebrate the lives of the animals that had passed away here at the sanctuary, and all of your animals too. Tonight, we are doing our annual blessing for all the animals that have passed this last year. Please join us in celebrating their lives and all of the lives of your pets who have passed this year also. Every year after the ceremony, we will burn the tribute cards that you can see here, and their ashes will be laid at Angel's Rest. So when you come for a visit, you can see the place where they're laid. Our call to gathering. As you pass through this gate, you realize you have entered a space where time has no meaning, a space where peace and harmony are eternal, a space where you are always welcome and always loved. Listen. Hear the message of love not forgotten, but of a love that transcends all physical realms, a love that lives on in the spirit of these animals. Remember, you were once the guardian of these animals on their earthly journey. Listen. Hear the wind whisper through the chimes, the silence on days gone by, leaving only memories of moments in time. Breathe. Take in a breath of life and thank Creator for the moments you shared. And then rejoice, delighting in knowing that your friends soar with the angels and are now your guardians.
I'm Colleen Ellis with Two Hearts Pet Loss Center, and I live in Dallas, Texas, and it's an honor to be with you tonight. I'm sure you remember that day like it was yesterday. Maybe you'd been contemplating it for a bit, or possibly it was a weak moment at a pet fair or shelter, and you just couldn't resist those eyes. You remember that day when you first brought him home, and in your heart, you knew another chapter of your life story was about to begin. You remember seeing them figure out their new surroundings, find their place, and begin the process of getting acclimated to this new life of theirs, possibly the first time they'd been in a family or in a loving home. And you remember the next day too. Years later, it was more than likely a very insignificant day, nothing special about it. But you found yourself looking down at your precious love and wondering, where did that gray come from? When did those clouds show up in her eyes? When did that giddy up become a waddle up? And when did that slow, deliberate process begin of getting out of bed and standing up? When did all this start to happen, you ask? With that, you begin to do what you need to do. You change supplements, you add some different things, you begin to get cushier beds. You now remember becoming uber sensitive to every physical thing they presented to you. With those questions and feelings, then there was the next level of questions you remember asking yourself. How much longer? When will it be time? Will I have to make the call? How many more precious memories can we create? And as fast as that day came and went, the next one showed up even quicker. It was that day. I want you to look at that day as a time within a window. The window of time when it's time. But looking at it differently is not a finite time. So often I get asked with people who are still struggling with the loss of their precious love, and they say, I don't know if I did it at the right time. I don't know if it was too soon or too late. They ask the question. And what I want you to do is look at the time as a window, where anything within the window was the right time. And possibly at some time in that window, you made the decision. Or maybe at some time within that window, the decision was made for you. You made the decision lovingly to take away their pain, knowing full well yours just started. For this time that we're together tonight, I want to have you join me as we back up and say hello, as we prepare our hearts to say goodbye. We never get over these losses. We get through them. And as we back up and say hello, I want you to go back to that first day, and let's unpack the time you shared with your precious pet and look at it through some different lens. Remember that day when he came to your house? Here was a being who was being plopped into new surroundings, possibly with some fur kid friends. Maybe there were some skin kid friends there, probably a skin adult. But they were being plopped into this new surrounding. He came in, and maybe it was a seamless integration, one where you seriously felt like it had always been. Maybe it took a bit to get everyone acclimated, but you acquiesced, and you said, looks like I adopted a sassy one this time. All good, all good. He got you, you got him, and life went on. Maybe you remember that very beginning when your significant other said, we're going to have new rules with this one. Okay? How about this time, no dogs in bed? And you kind of shook your head, and you got into bed that night, and the first cry happened in the crate. And you looked at each other, and you reasoned with each other, and you said, just for tonight. And then in a few days, you were off to the furniture store finding the king-size bed, so you could all be comfortable. And to this day, you still sleep with a pillow curled up that you spoon with, so you have that familiar feel of that smelly old body that still just warms your heart. Or maybe when that new little being came home on that first day, you held steadfast with that one piece of furniture that still didn't have pet hair on it. That was the people-only chair. We have some of those friends, right? It was the people-only chair. And then one day as you're coming through that room, you look over and she's sleeping so soundly, and you can hear her purring, and she's so comfortable, and it would just be plain rude to wake her up. And so all of a sudden that became off limits to people, and it was her chair, right? And when they came home, they acclimated to your routines and you to their routines, those routines which haunt you right now because they're how you told time throughout your day, and then became what you did throughout the day. The routine of a walk, filling the water bowls, cleaning the litter box, all of the details, all of the routines, the good, the bad, and the ugly, they were yours with them. Life went on, and memories were created that filled pages and pages, and not to mention the inordinate amount of space that was taken up with your Photos app on your phone. When that last day inevitably showed up, possibly you planned for it, or maybe it just happened. Whichever way it was, and as much as you thought you were ready, you know you were no more ready for that harsh, cold reality of that loss. A loss where now the presence of the absence absolutely grips your being. Let's go back again, gently. And again, let's find another set of lens to look at this amazing journey. This time I want you to look deeper, not at the memories, but the gifts you received all along the way because of their presence. From that first amount of time when they joined your world, the gifts and lessons of adapting. More than likely without much protest, and if there was a bit of protest, it was just because they were finding their way, you said to yourself, and it was okay. There was the gift of resilience and letting go. letting go of the comfort of their litter to join a new pack, or letting go of some bad that they just came from to begin a new life, one where they could trust. Oh, how about that gift of trust that they bring to us? They came into our world and trusted that we would give them what they needed when all they asked for was our love and to be cared for. The gift of routine. Yeah, I want you to look at routine as a gift. Here's one of my permissions for you tonight. I want you to continue those routines. Whatever you did, continue them. Continue the routines and remind yourself it was real. We have a routine in our house. Mealtime is an exciting time. I actually have a song I sing when dinner's ready or breakfast is ready. I sing a song, they do dances. It's a glorious, glorious time. And so around my kitchen wall is every dog bowl and every cat bowl from every deceased pet we've had, and also to include our living pets. And yeah, as you can imagine, it's quite a display. And the other question you might ask yourself is, what must people think when they come to your home? And here's another permission. We don't care, do we? No, we don't care. In fact, they're not invited. They're just not invited because I don't care. Unless they want to take over the mortgage. Then they're fully able to have an opinion. Okay? The gift of loyalty. The gift of just being with us in whatever manner we needed them, for support, for love, for a listening ear. The gift of being non-judgmental. When the rest of the world can be so full of judging, they just love. They didn't care about any of those elements where others might have an opinion. The gift of unconditional love from them to us and us to them that accompanies that gift of not judging. Loving with no strings, with no demands, with no expectations. I've been in the death care world for 34 years now. And I have some of my funeral director colleagues who ask me occasionally, Colleen, are you going to come back into the human side of helping people? And I say, oh no, sir, I will not. I said, let me tell you something about my world. I said, my world of pet loss is simple. And it's simple in this manner. Love equals grief. Love equals grief. When we have somebody of our pet friends that go, we don't worry about the wills that are going to be read. There's no judging and no harboring of ill resentment from words that were said long ago. It's pure love and pure grief of what we experience. And when this little pet dies, we don't have disappointments because they didn't achieve some sort of goal we had set for them, right? There's no college to graduate from. There's no things to achieve. And I tell my funeral director friends and my other colleagues, I said, heck, even in my world, I said, if they get the girl next door pregnant, it's not that big of a deal. We got puppies and kitties. It's not that big of a deal. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. I said it's pure love and pure grief. Pure love and pure grief. The gift of communication without words. Ways to show they loved us without saying a thing. And ways to tell us what they need. I just love the type of communication when you feel the words versus say the words. Join me as you think again differently this time about the end. Do you still say you're sorry to them as you were the one who made the call? Do you find yourself asking them for their forgiveness for that act of love that you did? Or possibly you want that forgiveness for yourself. Our animals are so amazing in this area, and we can learn such a lesson about forgiving and loving, the gifts and the lessons. Hold on to those. See them. Embrace the lessons, let them be a part of you, allow them to live on in you, as those lessons then can be a part of who you are, and every day you can ask yourself, what would they have done? What's the lessons I would have learned here? And I want to give you one more permission. I want to give you permission to embrace the fact that their life changed you, and most definitely their death did too. I want to talk for a second about grief bursts. I want to talk for a second about not getting over this. We get through this. We don't get over it. They were a part of us, they changed us, and they'll always be a part of us. So these grief bursts are going to happen. They're real. They're going to show up. And they may show up when you expect them or when you least expect them. Recently, something hit me as to how much I miss my precious Miko, who is the why behind the work I do. Every day I do what I do for her and for all the Mikos that are out there. And so we happened to be out to dinner, and it hit me that I missed her. So I unapologetically let those tears fall. Timing might have been a bit awkward as we were at the Melting Pot restaurant, and the waiter happened to come over just at that moment, and thank God for my husband, my rock, who said, "We're having a special moment about a little doggie that we loved so much." And the fondue's fine. And we never saw the waiter again that night, just so you know. But the grief bursts are going to happen. Embrace them, allow them, and allow your heart to be open when they show up. Possibly these grief bursts are going to be unexpected. When it's the first smell of spring, that's a harsh reminder of the walks that won't happen again. Or it happens at the fondue restaurant. Or maybe it's an eyes wide open time where you know when you dig out that box of Christmas decor, right there will be their stocking and their ornaments. And you know what's going to happen. And here's what I ask for you. When that grief shows up, I want you to invite her gently and lovingly in. I want you to set her down, and I want you to tell her your story about the life you shared. And I want you to be kind to yourself and say, this is for her. Every tear I shed right now is for her or for him. Invite her in this grief. Invite her in and make space. Give yourself these gifts of which they have merely given to you with their presence. Embrace them, embrace your grief, and go forth practicing everything you've learned from them to take steps towards being oh so perfect as we know they are in our hearts. Thank you.
For the next part of our tribute, a representative from each of the animal care areas will be reading the names of all the animals that have crossed over, all of the sanctuary animals that have crossed over in the past year. My name is Amy, and I'll be reading the names of the animals from the bunny house. The guinea pigs we lost this year: Surprise, Noel, and Fiona. The rabbits that we lost this year: Harper, Bun Bun, and Tian. I'd like to talk to you guys a little bit about our Tian. She arrived in our care in April 2011 when she was just 3 months old and was with us for over 10 years. Most visitors will remember her because of the funny grunting sound she made due to a benign polyp in her nasal cavity. Tian shared a run with her bonded mate Curly. The two were inseparable and were often observed grooming each other or sharing a meal. Curly was very protective of his Tian and would charge at us staff members whenever we had to enter to medicate her. Over the summer, we noticed that Tian was rapidly losing weight. Radiographs and blood work revealed that she had a malignant tumor in her trachea. For 2 weeks, we showered her with extra attention and treats. She and Curly even got to go on a sleepover with a guest at the Roadhouse. Once it was clear that she was in distress, we took her to the clinic for humane euthanasia. She crossed peacefully with her mate Curly by her side. While we were so sad to lose her, we were even more worried about Curly until we got the most amazing news. A wonderful family from Pennsylvania had recently volunteered with us and was looking for a rabbit to bond with their house bunny. They agreed to adopt Curly and flew him out to their home just a few days later. We like to think that Tian played a role in facilitating this happy ending for Curly. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Brandi Mckee. I'm a caregiver in Cat World, and I can't believe how many names of my kitties are on this list, so I apologize for the tears. Courtney, little baby, she loved baby food. Kimball, Bramble, Milo, Georgie, Claudia, Elvira, Paul, Quiche Lorraine, Letitia. When I first met Letitia, she sneezed all over me on my first day of work. Dash, he was our founder, Silva's office cat for a while. Trio was a cute little tripod. Rupert, also known as Keegan. Martina, Enzo, Angus. Roomba, also known as Christmas. Emerson was the welcome cat at Ben's house. Hazel, Julius, and Siren. Zoe gave the best hugs ever. Monty, Katina, Axel Rose, Ducky, Baracho, Taz, Gavin, Romeo, Yako, and Acadia. Junior was from San Jose. Arnold, Rocco, Mist, Elvin, Roderick. Hal was a sweetheart that was in Benton's room. Lil Wayne and Lil Bow Wow. Mike, Pageant, Bonnie, Moonshadow, Mr. Kiwi, Miley, Macy, and Sterling. Wilson, Alora, Oliver. Sapphire was a Benton's cat, and I was able to adopt her. I had her for 3 wonderful months. She loved spaghetti and meatloaf. Sorry. Yoka, Carol, Calais, Bernie, and Otsana. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I am Jackie Bushway Spear. It is an honor for me to be here today representing Dogtown. Before I read the names of the dogs that have earned their wings, there is a little blessing I would like to read. Dear Creator, thank you for the pure beauty of every dog. Their form, color, texture, motion is all a work of art, and may we appreciate your creation of this masterpiece. Thank you for the gift of love. Monaco, Nova, Ola, Chow, Loretta, Lady T, Marianne, Toru, Savi, Sunray, Stanton, Maury, Little Noi, Benja, Romulus, Naruto, Gertrude, Sheena, Gobstopper, Diego, Razzle, Sylvia, Drusilla, Jojo, Ace, Summerfest, O'Hara, Coachella, Lana, Booba J. Steele, Taffy, Brian Griffin, Delaney, Kamal, and Frida. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Lauren Ross, and I will be presenting for Wild Friends. This year we lost Miss Toot, who was a chicken. We lost Max the pigeon. We lost a duck named Zophany, who we only had for one night, but we just gave her a safe place to land. We also lost a pigeon named Tungsten, who was ill right as I started, and I learned so much from him. He leaves behind a buddy and a protector named Mike, who made sure his stay was safe with us. We had to bring him inside so that Tungsten was not alone. And when he recovered and we were able to put him back in the aviary, Mike stayed with him to make sure he was safe. And when Tungsten did pass on his own, Mike was with him and kept him safe from all the other pigeons. So it's always harder for the ones that are left behind. But thank you.
My name is Kaye, and I'm a caregiver for Parrot Garden. The birds who crossed over this year are Laquita, Forrest, Molly, Frisia, Blue, Luigi, Superman, Figaro, Liberty, Petunia, Anduin, and Evening Star. Laquita's time at the Parrot Garden only overlapped with my own for just a brief heartbeat of time, but it was an honor to meet him. In his many years at the sanctuary, he touched countless hearts and was iconic for his love and devotion to his mate, another macaw named Kaye. He leaves behind a legacy in all the memories that he left with so many, and in Kaye, who is now living out her life in a happy home. Figaro was one of those birds who you knew by sound as well as by sight. He was a personality and a joy to be around. He definitely had opinions about a lot of things and was not shy about voicing them very loudly, whether it was greeting you in the morning in this sing-song voice he had, or whether it was saying, "Here we go," in a way that you knew he was ready for some trouble. But he brought so many smiles to the faces of volunteers and visitors and those of us who were lucky enough to have him in our day-to-day lives.
Hi, I'm Rosalie, and I'm here for our horses and our pigs and our goats from this year. Our horses this year were Camino. He was a staff horse. She was a staff horse. Sorry. And Billy Bob. Billy Bob was a 34-year-old ranch horse from a town just over in Fredonia. And he thankfully passed away really peacefully, actually, in his sleep. Our goats this year were Sid, Bailey, Johnny, Millicent, who was a little lamb, and Stevie. Stevie was about I'll just say 7 to 10-year-old boar mix. Years are kind of relative here. And had a very common health issue, but he was the goat barn greeter. He was just wonderful, and we do miss him quite a bit. And Sid was his friend who passed away as well on the same day as we love our large animals, but probably our most significant one this year was our smallest member. She was Meow, our barn cat. And she showed up in our horse department about 2001, 2002, very feral, and throughout the years just really became important to everybody. Everybody loved her, everybody knew her, and she was a beautiful calico and became very friendly over the years. And for years I hoped that she was an animagus and would live forever and protect us, but in her 20s she developed a kidney failure and was great for all her medical for about 3 or 4 years, and then passed away just last week, in fact. And we really miss her quite a bit. She loved goats, pigs, horses. She didn't mind dogs. She was just pretty much, like we would always say, the best cat ever. So we do miss her every day.
Hello, everybody. My name's Josh. I'm one of the caretakers here at Angels Rest, and I wanted to say thank you again for everybody coming out. I see some familiar faces out there, and it's been too long since we've done this, so thank you again. I'd like to now read some of the tributes that we received this month. To those of you who had submitted tributes online, please know that your loved ones will be included in the video recording of the blessing, which will be available next week. We'll start with Charlie, Simba, Cromwell, Gracie and Snoopy, Maya, Teddy, Norma, Wilma, Bo, Maggie Danger White, Bobo, Honey, Jazzy, Allie, Cosmo and Casey, Sierra, Marcy, Zena, the pets of the Ponderosa Pet Resort Fire in Georgetown, Texas, Sadie, and the cats of the Pet Alliance Fire. And now at this point, I'd like to offer a moment of silence for all of our little guys that have passed along the way. Now, Byron and I will be reading two selections from the many wonderful stories we received this month. This is Gwen Taylor Kramer, At Peace, at 9/3/21. Gwen knew what I cared about first, what was good for her. She hoped for all her life, and she found it. Her life was a success. A dad, a brother, a home, a place she belonged. She found all those things. Her tail clicked back and forth like a metronome, which makes sense. Gwen was music. At the end, when she was in my arms, I felt from her it was a goodbye for now. She wanted us to be excited for her. She said she'd write when she got where she was going. I can picture her pushing a little suitcase forward with her nose, boarding a bus. The bus started, then came to a hill. It climbed and climbed until it was gone. And just before that, I saw Gwen in the back window waving goodbye. For now. It was an honor to be her dad, your home, your family. Now Cooper asked me to include a list he wrote for you. Dear Gwen, make friends, chase birds, dig through garbage because you never know what you'll find. And remember us, me, Daddy, this world, and not just for now, forever. Oh.
Hello, I'm Byron. I'm one of the caretakers here at Angel's Rest. And I have a story here from Jess, one of our Dogtown caregivers. Delaney arrived in Dogtown in 2014 from a shelter and foster home in Tennessee. She came to Old Friends because she was having some medical issues, and all the caregivers knew right away that she was a very special dog. She was extremely sweet with people and kind to other dogs. We soon found out that Delaney had brucellosis, a zoonotic disease, so we had to take some extra precautions at first. Delaney took all this in stride. She was always happy to see her caregivers and friends. She played with her dog Gibson, a younger scruffy pup who she took under her wing. She loved going for walks. As we learned more about brucellosis, more opportunities arose for Delaney, and I am so thankful for this. She started going on car rides and outings with volunteers and later got to do sleepovers as well. A special dog park was created for dogs who have brucellosis. Delaney was able to romp and explore the park frequently, basking in the desert sun. Delaney took another dog under her wing, a shy girl named Hannah, and they became the best of friends. Although Delaney would have been adopted years ago if she didn't have brucellosis, I don't want us to remember her for the disease which she had. I want us to remember a gorgeous black lab whose eyes sparkled with life, who despite everything she went through acted like she'd never had a bad day in her life. A girl who tugged a lot of heartstrings and will always be remembered. Rest easy, Laney. You are so loved. And now we're going to invite Leslie to share a story about Simba.
Hi everyone, my name is Leslie. I came today to this event to honor an amazing dog named Simba. Simba came to Best Friends in August of 2007 at 2 years of age. Late in October of 2007 was my first volunteer trip to Best Friends, and Simba just happened to be in Dottie's at the Fairway, which was the first group of dogs that I met. Of course, as you can see in the picture with her below, she's gorgeous and she grabbed my eye. But of course, I had 2 dogs at home, and the last thing I thought I needed was another dog. So I volunteered for 2.5 more days, and my last volunteer stint was again at the Fairway. And so I obviously visited with her a lot, and a few days later, of course, I applied to adopt her. And then about a month later, she traveled to the East Coast. I honestly, even though I had met her here, I had no idea what I was in for. She was a husky mix, of course. She was so headstrong. She was so stubborn. I mean, I don't think I've ever met anyone as headstrong and stubborn as her, besides myself, of course. I mean, independent, crazy independent. We proceeded to challenge each other. We proceeded to learn from each other. She quickly became my rock. She became the matriarch of the house and my best running partner ever. Remember when I said that I had 2 dogs and I really didn't think I needed any more? Since then, we've welcomed 12 other dogs into our pack, including many seniors, many who have passed since her. And we've also fostered, or I should say, she has fostered over 50 other dogs. Of course, she had to keep them in line because that is who she was, the matriarch of the house. She was amazing. She raced over 30 races with me, and I don't even know how many thousands of miles that we ran, walked, and hiked together. At 12.5 years old, she ran her last 5K in just over 22 minutes with me as her anchor. So who knows how fast she could have run if it wouldn't have been for me. She loved running so much. She loved just being out and about. I mean, she came from this area, of course, why wouldn't she? But at about 13 years old, her body finally told her that her running days were over, so her runs became jogs, her jogs became walks, her walks got slower, her walks got shorter, and then this year, her body it was about all she could do to go out into the backyard and do her walks around, but she was so stubborn and headstrong that there was no way she was going to let me help her do anything, of course. And then late August, she finally told me that she just couldn't do it anymore. So the pack and I surrounded her at home, and at 16 years old, we let my bestest girl cross the Rainbow Bridge. I am so thankful for Best Friends for allowing her to be my bestest girl and the rock of our house for so long. I'm also very thankful to Angela, who was her caregiver here at Best Friends in 2007. We've stayed friends, we've kept in touch. Every year for 14 years at Christmas time, Simba writes her a Christmas letter. She tells her about her year and about how many dogs her mom brought into the house that she could really do without, that she has to foster, she has to take care of and send them on their way. Angela's been really good. And actually about 2 hours before I came to this event, I'm staying at the Roadhouse, I got a Best Friends bag with a bottle of wine and a card and a note saying that she bought wind chimes in honor of Simba for me. So it's really special because Angela still works for Best Friends. She was here and then she went to LA and now she's actually in Nashville. So she's been a really special part of our life, and I have to believe that Simba's still gonna write to her from across the Rainbow Bridge, at least for a little while, because she's still gonna watch over us, I have no doubt. Simba, although you're no longer here on earth with us, I have no doubt you're going to rule the pack from afar. But I promise you, we will continue to foster, we will continue to rescue in your honor. Run free, my girl, and know that you're still here with me on my runs and in life, and you always will be. Thank you.
Now we'd like to invite Sandy up to share a story.
Hi, I'm Sandy, and my horse Ibis passed when he was 37, was off the track thoroughbred, and graced me with sharing life together for 32 years. When I asked him to tell me about himself, He said, "You could call me the connector, the transformer of hearts," which blew me away. At that point, I hadn't heard an animal say something like that to me. And the day that he passed, a few hours later, I got this message, and as often happens, his messages were for me, but also for everyone. So I'd like to read that to you. You know it was my time to go. You know it was so. I race with you through the winds of your heart as we touch each other's souls, racing through the winds, galloping through hearts, through touch, through sound, through healing, and the ethers. I will speak through your heart, your voice, your hands. We will continue to teach. I've just changed my clothes. This time, without you. We moved a lot, so. I've changed addresses, that's what he said, but this time without you. Know that we're together, soul to soul forever, with grace and with beauty. It wasn't always easy between us, but what a dance it's been. As I race across the winds, you'll hear me at night. You'll hear me in your heart, just as you are now. Call me to help you steady. Call me to show you the way, just as I have all these years. We will navigate through time and space all the more powerfully now. I am bound to the physical no more. I am galloping across the ethers, across time and space, with all of our beloveds who've passed before me. We stand with you, and we stand together through time and space, as we have done before and will do again. You will hear me nicker again. Hear my whinny each time you walk into the barn and see another horse. In your heart, you'll know it's true. I'm with you always. Let my body go now. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Remember, I wasn't growing old. I was just growing to the light. I shine brighter than ever before, and you shine with me. Together, we go forth in this new way. Change happens. This seemingly final change has happened. You're okay, and will become even stronger. I left you with good resources. Be your resources. Live using your inner resources. I'm here with you, living through your heart. Together we stand. Thank you.
Hello. I'm Sharon St. Joan, one of the co-founders here at Best Friends. And this is a poem, Walk with the Wind. May you walk with the wind on footsteps of starlight over green hills where the angels of timeless time sing their sky-encircling songs of peace and radiant gladness. May you walk or hop or swim or fly along the rainbow bridge to reach the enchanted lands that lie beyond the foot-worn paths of earth below. May you play among the roses and the lilies, wildflowers that climb the sand dune by the shore of the translucent sea where the waves crash bravely among the tall granite rocks. May you greet your friends, your brothers and sisters, who you have always known. Now you are together once more. May you walk in our dreams. May we hear the sound, the tone of your voice nearby, in the dawn hours and in the bubbling of clear streams among the stones of light, when the juniper tree stands nodding off in sleep, while the clouds sail by on rivers of moonlight. May you run through the deep forest with the wild ones and the tame ones, and play with the dancing spirits in the mist. Now, forever freed from the tangles of time and from the forlorn darkness of the shadow, free to fly on the sun-haloed wings of the wind with flocks of black-chinned hummingbirds who rest or nest among the sheltering leaves of the cottonwood tree, whose far-reaching branch bends over the shining grass, far greener than any here on earth. May your spirit fly in the nights and the days among the star-born worlds of joy until we meet again. May your wings soar in the music of the bells of sunrise. May all your times be happy. May your toes skip laughing through the puddles of the rains of spring. May your eyes sparkle like the petals in the morning dewdrops. May you hear the songs we never hear all around in the sacred night until the sunlight spills over the gentle towers of the mountains. May you walk with butterflies as your winged companions, along with all your friends of eternity. Thank you that our lives have been blessed with your presence, your grace, and your innocence, and for being with us now and always in the bright lands beyond time, along the journey where we go. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Cyrus Mejia, one of the co-founders of Best Friends. When we talk about the founding of Best Friends, one of the major characters is this place. It's a debate whether we found this place or this place found us. But throughout the history of Best Friends, the sacredness and the power of this place has played a major role. I'd like to sing for you a song that I wrote not long after arriving here that was inspired by the sacredness of this place. Sometimes I long for days like yesterday, when life was simple still, when all my dreams were brightly colored then, and every one of them was filled with hopes and aspirations. And when I woke without a sound to the magic of the morning, I was standing on holy ground. But now my dreams are from a troubled time, and life's a battle zone, where streets and highways follow faded lines, where rivers used to flow, and from every drop of water a city now has grown. Seems like everyone's forgotten we're all standing on holy ground. Holy ground, holy ground, holy ground, holy ground, everywhere and all around, we're all standing on holy ground. I went out to the open desert land, empty as the sky, of sacred mountain there and watched an eagle fly over ghosts of ancient ocean. And on her wings I heard the sound of a voice that I'd forgotten. Said, I'm standing on holy ground, holy ground, holy ground, holy ground, holy ground, everywhere and all around. We're all standing on holy ground. We're all standing on holy ground. We're all standing on holy ground. Thank you.
Thank you all for being here. Thank you for sharing all your love, all your memories. Very moving, very touching. So thank you all who are here at the sanctuary, and thank you all who've been sharing with us online. I hope you feel as recharged as we all do here. Thank you again. Benediction. I give you one thought to keep. I am with you still. I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow. I am the diamond's glint on the snow. I am the sunlight on ripened grain. I am the gentle autumn rain. When you awaken in the morning's rush, I am the swift, uplifting rush of quiet birds in circled flight. I am the soft stars that shine at night. Do not think of me as gone. I am with you still in each new dawn. Thank you.